Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to our Tuesday evening Bhagavad Gita discussion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna. So today we'll be discussing chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga. So last time we finished chapter 11. Chapter 11 is Vishwarupa Darshan Yoga, the universal form of the Supreme. So Arjuna requested Krishna to show his universal form. And then Krishna grants the special vision to Arjuna so that he can see the universal form of the Lord. After seeing the universal form of the Lord, Arjuna described what he has seen and what was the influence of seeing this universal form on Arjuna. Arjuna was getting afraid, he was getting scared, bewildered. And then he requests Krishna to reveal, who are you? Okay, and Krishna starts with saying, I am time, I am Kala, who have come here to destroy everything. All the people on this war, except the Pandavas, they all will be destroyed. And Arjuna see everybody rushing into the mouth of Krishna, being stuck. Some are stuck in between the teeth, like a chickpea is stuck between the teeth. So Arjuna prays to Krishna, offer prayers in many different forms. Okay, glorifying Krishna, paying obeisances to Krishna, asking for forgiveness. And then Arjuna finally requests Krishna to show the four-handed form. And then the two-handed form as the Supreme Lord. And after Arjuna has seen everything, Krishna concludes that this form can be seen by somebody who is connected with Krishna through Bhakti Yoga. Somebody who is in the process of Ananya Bhakti. That person can withhold this form. Otherwise, it's not possible to see this form of Krishna. So that was chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita. Now, after Krishna has instructed this, Arjuna asks a question. So this is how chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita starts. It starts with Arjuna's question. And based on that question, Arjuna, Lord Krishna answers that question in 19 verses. So the overall flow of chapter 12 is starting with Arjuna's question, who is better? Who is a better person or better yogi? Somebody who is attracted towards the personal form of the Lord, or somebody who is attracted to the impersonal, unmanifest form of the Lord. Out of these two, who is a better yogi? Who is connected in yoga better way? So that's how it starts. So Lord Krishna answers this question, describing the difference between personalist versus impersonalist. And then Lord Krishna talk about the progressive stages of bhakti. Okay, the different progressive stages of bhakti. And then finally, Krishna is going to speak about the qualities of devotee, qualities of personalist, as somebody who is connected with the personal form of the Lord. So it starts with Arjuna's question, and the first verse of 12th chapter is Arjuna Uvacha Evam Satata Yukta Ye Bhaktas Tvam Paryupasate Ye Chapi Aksharam Avyayam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha. So Evam Satata Yukta Ye, somebody who is connected with you always, Bhakta, the devotee who worship you, who worships your personal form. So somebody who is worshipping your personal form always, or ye chapi aksharam avyaktam, or somebody who is attracted to aksharam. So aksharam refers to something which does not get destroyed, or something which is beyond the senses, which cannot be perceived through our senses. Aksharam. And avyaktam means unmanifested. So somebody who is engaged in worshipping you always, or somebody who is attracted to your unmanifested form, which is beyond the senses. Among these two, who is better? Yoga with tamaha. So who is most perfect in knowledge of yoga? So that is Arjuna's inquiry. So Arjuna want to know a personalist who is attracted to the personal form of the Lord, or an impersonalist or a Brahmavadi who is attracted to the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. Okay, who is better? Why Arjuna is asking this question? Because Arjuna is attracted to the personal form of the Lord. He is worshipping Krishna in his personal form. Arjuna asked in the previous chapter, right? Please show to me your personal four-handed form, and then the two-handed form, which is the ultimate form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Arjuna is interested in the personal form of the Lord, and Arjuna want to know what is my position? Who is better? Is my position secure as worshipping the personal form of the Lord, or somebody who is attracted to the unmanifest, that is better? So in answer to Arjuna's question, Lord Krishna starts to speak. And first, what is Krishna's answer to clarify to Arjuna that your position is secure. Do not worry about that. So Krishna talk about that somebody who is connected with me, who is attracted to me, to my personal form, and I always worshipping my personal form, engaging their mind in my personal form with faith, they are most perfect. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Vesha Mano Ye Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Pariyot Shraddhaya Pariyopetas Te Me Yukta Tamah Mataha. So Te Me Yuktuttamaha Mataha. So somebody who is attracted to my personal form, Mai Avesha Mano Ye Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate. So who are always focusing their mind on, fixing their mind on me, engaging in my worship, Shraddhaya, with faith. So Parayaha, transcendental. So who are worshipping me with transcendental faith, always fixing their mind in me, they are the most perfect. That is my opinion. Okay. So uh, Lord Krishna is answering Arjuna's question straightforward, saying, my personal worship is far superior to the impersonal aspect, or to the worship of the impersonal. First of all, when we use the word worship of the impersonal, how is somebody worshipping the impersonal? How is it possible to worship the impersonal when there is no form? What do you really worship? So Krishna is going to describe what is the meaning of worshipping the impersonal. What do they really do? Okay. So here Lord Krishna has in one verse described to Arjuna that personalists are better situated. Now in text 3 and 4, Krishna speak about the impersonalists or the Brahmavadis who are attracted to the impersonal form. So what do they really see? What do they really worship? So Krishna says those who worship the unmanifest, which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses, by being equally disposed to everyone, such person engaged in the welfare of all at last achieves me. So text 3 and 4, Lord Krishna is speaking about, first in text 3, Krishna speaks about in what way they worship the Supreme Lord. Like, what is the impersonal aspect? What is the characteristic of that impersonal aspect? Aksharam, which is beyond the perception of senses. Anirdeshayam, indefinite. Avyaktam, unmanifest. Paryupasate. So they worship this aspect of the Supreme Lord, which is Sarvatragam, which is all pervading. He is present everywhere. Achintyam, he is unconceivable. Okay. Kutahastham, unchanging. Achalam, immovable. Dhruvam, fixed. So by that is a quality of the impersonal aspect. But how do they worship the impersonal aspect? So there are three things Krishna mentioned how they worship the impersonal aspect: by controlling their various senses. Okay. Sanniyama indriya gramam, by controlling all their senses. Samabuddhaya, being equally disposed, having the equal vision towards everybody. Okay. And then Sarva Bhute Hite Rataha, by engaging in the welfare of all living entities. So that is how they engage in worshipping the impersonal aspect of the Lord, by controlling their senses, Indriya Gramam, Samabuddhaya, being equally disposed towards everything, and Sarva Bhute Hite, by engaging in the welfare of all living entities. So Krishna says, when somebody is worshipping the impersonal aspect also in that way, they also at last achieve me. Okay. Now, the devotees also achieve Krishna. Somebody who is worshipping the personal form of the Lord, they also achieve Krishna. And somebody who is worshipping the impersonal aspect of the Lord, they also achieve. So what is the difference then? Okay, ultimately Krishna is saying they also come to me, they also achieve me. So are they both equal? Is it one and same thing then? No. So the difference, we have to understand the difference here. What is the meaning of attaining Krishna in the impersonal form versus attaining Krishna in the personal form? Prabhupada quotes one example in third canto of Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada says, if you have milk, now you can come in contact with milk by engaging one of your senses. You can come in contact with milk by engaging your eyes only, or by engaging your ears only, or by engaging your sense of touch, or by engaging your sense of smell, or by engaging your sense of taste. So by any one of the senses also, you can come in contact with the milk, but the experience of the milk through one of these senses is different. So for example, if somebody sees milk only, and you don't do anything, you don't engage any other sense, but just see the milk. By seeing the milk, somebody can understand something about milk, that okay, it's a white substance. And if somebody engages only ears, sense of hearing in connection with milk, and they close all other senses, they are closing their eyes, smell, taste, touch, but only sense of hearing. So by hearing about the milk, somebody can understand the qualities of the milk. that, oh, milk is white substance, it is extracted from cow, it's maybe liquid, it has this quality or that quality. So by hearing, one can understand something about milk. And if somebody engages the touch and don't engage any other senses, then by touching the milk, somebody will understand, oh, it's liquid, either it's hot or cold. So somebody can understand some aspect of milk. By engaging the sense of smell, somebody can maybe take the aroma of the milk and they can understand what is the aroma, what is the smell of the milk. But if somebody drinks the milk, somebody engages the sense of taste. So when they drink the milk, they get the most benefit of the milk. Okay? By hearing, by seeing, by smelling, by touching, they do not derive as much benefit of milk what they derive by drinking the milk. By drinking the milk, ultimately it nourishes and they get all the benefit. Now, same way with Krishna, if somebody is just engaging in philosophical understanding about Krishna, okay, by understanding Krishna through jnana or by understanding Krishna through their mental speculation or engaging in some dhyana, they can understand Krishna to some particular extent. But when somebody personally engages with Krishna, okay, through the process of bhakti yoga, then one can experience Krishna to the fullest extent. So, as in the example of milk by different senses, one can derive some understanding of milk through various senses. Same way, by other processes of jnana, dhyana, karma, one can understand Krishna to particular extent. But when somebody personally engages with Krishna through the process of bhakti yoga, then they connect with Krishna into the most intimate relation. Okay, that is the most ultimate connection with Krishna, and they can connect with Krishna in his personal form. They connect with Krishna in his spiritual abode also. Whereas the Brahmavadi or the impersonalist, they will achieve Krishna in his impersonal aspect, means they will attain up to the Brahma Jyoti of Krishna. So it is a choice. You want to connect, you want to reach Krishna's Brahma Jyoti, the effulgence, or you want to reach Krishna in his personal abode, where you have personal darshan of Krishna, personal relation with Krishna. But how the impersonalists engage with the Supreme Lord? Three particular things Krishna is mentioning. By controlling the senses. So they try to control the senses by whatever means. Sometimes it's artificial means of controlling the senses because senses are not really engaged in connection with Krishna. They are artificially being trying to control the senses to engage in various other materialistic activities. So that is uh, the limitation in this process of controlling the senses through artificial methods. The second thing is by being equally disposed towards everybody in this material world. While we are in this material world in a bodily conception of life, it becomes very, very difficult to be equally disposed towards everybody in all circumstances. Okay, be it the friend or the enemy. So in all situation, to see everybody equally, it's very difficult. As Arjuna's concern was also, how do I see my brothers, Yudhishthira, Bhima, and the opponents who are standing in the opposite side to fight with me, Duryodhana, Dushasana? How do I see everybody with equal vision? Right? How do I consider everybody equal? So it becomes very difficult. And then engaging in the welfare of all the living entities. Okay, so Malti Mataji asked question in last Saturday class, right? If somebody is serving others, okay, with no personal benefit, with no desire of return. He is just engaged in serving others. So in that sense, here what Krishna is saying is that is like worshipping the impersonal aspect of the Lord. Ultimately, they may attain to the impersonal aspect of the Lord when they are engaging in the Nishkama Karma Yoga. That is indirect way of worshipping the Supreme Lord. But because they are not directly connected with Krishna, they do not go back to Krishna in his personal abode, but ultimately they may go up to the level of impersonal, um, merging in the impersonal aspect, Brahma Jyoti. But there also, they cannot stay permanently. Ultimately, they again come down, because staying in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, hanging in the Brahma Jyoti, is not the permanent situation. There is no activity there, there is no engagement there. And ultimately, people think better I come back into the material world and engage in some philanthropic activities. So even though somebody may attain to that impersonal aspect, but they again return back into this material world. And many times I quote this example. If you are asked to sit in a room, okay, 6 by 6 room, there is a table, chair in that room, dark room, and you are told, okay, just go in the room and sit there. You have nothing to do, no activity, just go and sit there. How long can you keep sitting there? Okay, ultimately you will become bored and you will say, oh, let me just go out and do something. Okay, so going merging in Brahma Jyoti is like that. You are hanging there in Brahma Jyoti on the ray of that effulgence. There is no activity, there is no engagement. Whereas when somebody goes to Krishna in his personal abode, there is always engagement, there is always activity, serving Krishna personally. Okay, as in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many descriptions of the spiritual world where it describes that the residents of spiritual world, they are flying in the airplanes and they are always chanting the glories of Krishna. They are serving Krishna in various aspects, in various forms. So in spiritual world, there is always activity, because our real savrupa, what is our real savrupa is anandamaya abhyayasat. We want to experience happiness, and our natural position is to be active. We cannot stay without activity. So here Krishna is telling, yes, the people who are attracted to the impersonal aspect, they worship Krishna in these various forms, which is inconceivable, beyond the senses, non-moving, fixed, everywhere present. And how they worship? By these three ways. And they can also at last can attain me. But next verse, text 5, Krishna talks about the challenges in this process. What are the challenges in this process? So text 5, Krishna says, Kalesho adhiktarastesham avyakta asakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham deha abhidhir avapyate. So for those whose minds are attached to the unmanifest, impersonal feature of the Lord, advancement is very troublesome. Kalesho adhiktaras tesham. It's kalesha. It's very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Okay. Deha abadbhir avapyate. So by the embodied. Now, what is our situation? We are all embodied, right? We are encased in this body. So while being in this embodied situation, it's very difficult to make progress in that way if somebody is attracted to the impersonal aspect of the Lord. Because, as I said earlier, it's very difficult, first of all, to control the senses in artificial ways, or to be equal visioned towards everybody at all situations, in all at all times, and engaging in the welfare activity for everybody without our own personal considerations. So all these things are very challenging. Yes, people do that. Some people are able to do that, and it requires a much longer practice, much longer time, and they have to come back again and again. So in that way, it becomes a much troublesome task. Now, in these first 5 verses, in one sense, Krishna has answered Arjuna's question, but now the remaining verses, Krishna is talking about the devotees who are attracted to the personal form of the Lord. Okay, so let's maybe review and maybe discuss some questions. First of all, why Arjuna wanted to know whether the personal or impersonal form of the Lord is superior? What was the reason of Arjuna asking this question? Okay, we'll go quick. So,
because Arjuna was attracted to the personal form.
okay, good. Because Arjuna is attracted to the personal form of the Lord. So he's asking this question to understand what is his position. Right? So that was the reason. Now, what are the impersonal manifestation of the Supreme Lord? What are the characteristics of the impersonal manifestation of the Lord? So describe a few characteristics maybe quickly.
Effulgence.
Okay, effulgence. Okay.
It's all pervading.
All pervading.
Immovable.
Immovable. I mentioned, or in the first verse itself, 2 specific words come, if you remember.
You cannot think about it, Prabhuji. Achintya,
Conceivable.
Ananta.
Achintaya, okay.
And no shape.
Okay, no shape, yeah, because that is impersonal, there is no shape. But
Achintya.
I'm looking for 2.
Sarvatra Samabuddhaya.
Yes, okay. I'm looking for 2 specific words. It comes in the first verse itself.
Achalam Dhruvam.
In the first verse. In the first verse, 2 words are there to
That's
describe the impersonal.
Avyaktam Aksharam.
Okay, good. Avyaktam Aksharam. Avyaktam, unmanifest. Aksharam, which is beyond the senses. Okay, and then in third verse, there are many other characteristics defined, which is immovable, all-pervading, fixed. So these are the characteristics of the impersonal aspect of the Lord. And how do the impersonalist practice? What is the practice of impersonalist?
Meditations.
Okay, meditation. Meditation on what?
On
Controlling the senses.
Okay.
Welfare of
people and equipoised.
Okay, good. So 3 particular things which Krishna is mentioning in text number 4: by controlling the senses, by being equipoised, and then engaging in the welfare act of all. Sarva Bhuta Hiterataha. Okay, so these are the 3 things specifically Krishna is speaking about the impersonalist, how they are engaging. And yes, we know Dhyana Yoga process where the transcendentalists, they engage in meditating on the Paramatma aspect. So they are not meditating on something impersonal. They are actually meditating on the Paramatma aspect of the Lord. And their goal is to merge into the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. But they are meditating on the Paramatma feature. They want to capture the Paramatma which is inside the heart. So, and why is the path of impersonal worship considered very troublesome? Why it is considered worse than the path of personal worship?
Because it's difficult. It's very difficult.
It is very difficult. Why?
To go through all those processes, like the yam niyam, sit in a particular position, engage all your senses, and be, it's just hard.
Yeah. So to basically, first of all, to clear the mind of all the thoughts and control the senses in artificial way, it's very difficult. So Krishna says it's difficult for the embodied. Klesho adhiktaras tesham. And another thing is nobody knows whether one will achieve the goal or not in the end. There is uncertainty. And this particular process, when practiced for long time, that particular idea, it becomes so deep rooted that it's difficult to give up that idea. Okay, and there is always chances of fall down during this practice. So because of all these various things, this process becomes very difficult, very troublesome. Now, worshipping the personal form of the Lord is much easier, but somebody who is maybe lazy, we can just say somebody who's lazy, they do not want to engage in the personal worship of the Lord, and they are more attracted towards the nirguna worship. That okay, because see, for the nirakar, which is there is no form, there is no question of dressing the Lord, right? Dressing the deity, there is no question of cooking for the Lord, offering bhoga, because whom do you dress? When there is no form, there is no question of bathing the deity, dressing the deity. When there is no form, there is no personal form, there is no question of whom do you offer bhoga. So then you don't have to do anything. So people who are in a laziness mode, they are not attracted to the personal worship of the Lord. They think भगवान तो सब जगह है, उनको क्या नैवेद्य लगाना, क्या उनको नहलाना, क्या उनको श्रृंगार करना. So they are not attracted to all these things. They maintain this idea. But the personal representation of the form, this is authorized. It's not that it is somebody's concoction. This is also authorized form of the Lord. In 11th canto Bhagavatam, in Uddhava Gita, when Lord Krishna is discussing with Uddhava, there one particular chapter in Bhagavatam which describes, Krishna is describing to Uddhava about the deity worship, okay, the process of deity worship, how the deity is made, how the deity can be made, which objects the deities can be made. It can, 7 particular things Krishna mentioned, that the deities can be made out of these 7 items. It can be made of clay, it can be made of metal, it can be made of wood, it can be made of pearls, it can be made of dhatu, like metal, gold, silver, or any other metal. It can be made with paint as a painting, right, the pictures. And it can be made with sand, balu. So different items are described how the deity form can be made. And the deity form of the Lord, it's a authorized representation of the Lord. It's not that somebody can make any particular form and claim it to be the Supreme Lord. One can bring any stone, any shape, and say, oh, this is the Archa Vigraha of the Lord. No, but the deity form of the Lord, this is described specifically in the Shastras. What is the form of the Lord? How does the Lord look like? And how the deity to be carved, how the deity to be made. And Prabhupada quotes this example many times, comparing with the mailbox, the authorized mailbox. Okay, if you want to put a letter, if you want to send a letter to somebody, there is a authorized mailbox government. Okay, there is some red box there, or here, let's say some blue boxes are there for USPS. So you have to go and drop the letter into the authorized box. And if the letter is put into the authorized mailbox, it will ultimately reach to the destination. One cannot just go and drop the letter in any box which you see on the road. So same way, the deity form of the Lord is an authorized representation. When somebody serves the deity form of the Lord, whatever we are offering to the Lord ultimately reaches to the Lord. The Lord is accepting that. The Lord is accepting our services through his deity form. This is the mercy of the Lord. He has manifested in the deity form to give us his association. Okay, that is Archa Vigraha Avatar. When we talk about the various avatars of the Lord, Archa Vigraha is also considered as one avatar of the Lord in the form of Archa Vigraha. The Lord has manifested in material world in the form of material elements to shower his mercy upon us, because we with our material eyes cannot see the transcendental form of the Lord. Like in the last chapter, Arjuna wanted to see the transcendental form of the Lord. Krishna said, with these material eyes, you cannot see my transcendental form. I will give you the special vision. Okay. So for Arjuna, Lord Krishna gave him the special vision so that Arjuna can see the transcendental form. But for all of us, to show his mercy, Krishna is giving his special form. Okay, so Krishna is providing a special form in the form of Archa Vigraha. So we can see that form of the Lord with our material eyes. We can serve the Lord with our senses by engaging our senses, and in that way develop our relationship with the Lord. Okay, so that is the process of worshipping the personal form of the Lord. Now, understanding Krishna or realizing Krishna, the personal form of the Lord, in Shastra, there are two words used, okay, Rupa and Savarupa. Okay, anybody knows what is the difference between Rupa and Savarupa?
Roop is the original and Swarup is identical to that.
Okay, so Rupa is the actual form, shape, and Savarup is in one sense as the identification. Okay, so that is what Malti Mataji is saying. Anybody else?
I don't know, the Swarup is a
Yeah.
group of within what I would call all the virtues and all the
Okay,
or total personality, probably.
good. Okay, very good. So Suresh Prabhu is saying Savrupa means the attributes in one sense, the qualities, the characteristics which is inside. Okay, that is the Savrupa. So for example, see, when we talk about Krishna, when you think about Krishna's Rupa, okay, what do you see? As soon as you think of the form of Krishna, what do you see? What do you kind of meditate on? How do you see Krishna?
Beautiful,
eyes, the
threefold
smile,
bent
flute.
form.
Okay, one person at a time. Yes, Malti Mataji.
The eyes, the smile, the flute.
Okay, so we look at the smile of Krishna. We think Krishna is holding flute in his hands. He is wearing a peacock feather. He is wearing yellow garments, standing in Tribhanga form. Right, so that is form of Krishna. Right, रूप वो भगवान का, वो कृष्ण का रूप है. But what is the savroop of Krishna? So when we talk about savroop of Krishna, that is Satchit Ananda Vigraha, Anandamayo Abhyasat. That is the savroop. Okay, Krishna is transcendental. He is full of bliss. He is full of eternity. So now for Lord Ramachandra, let's say, what is the roop of Lord Ramachandra? When you think of Lord Ramachandra, in which form do you think of Lord Ramachandra?
With bow and arrow.
Okay, holding bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we can think of Lord Ramachandra. Okay, Ajanulambit Bhuja, his very long arms approaching up to the knees, and he's holding bow in one hand and arrow in another hand. And in that way, that is, we know as the roop of Lord Ramachandra. But what is the savroop of Lord Ramachandra?
Maryada Purushottam characteristics.
Very good. So Maryada, ke dharma, Ramo Vigravan dharma. So that is the savroop of Lord Ramachandra, which is Maryada, Dharma. Now, when you think of Lord Shiva, what is the roop of Lord Shiva?
With a
Well,
snake.
he is a. Go ahead. Somebody let them to speak.
Yes, Ridhanya Mataji, go ahead.
With a snake in the neck and then
Yeah.
Ganga flowing from his head.
Yeah, so immediately
And
when you
glowing color.
yeah, exactly. So when we think of Lord Shiva, what immediately comes in mind, we see his mated hair, Ganga coming out of the mated hair. He is having snake in his neck, holding Trishul, sitting on a lion skin. So those kind of things, right? Those are the attributes for his personal form. And what is the Savroop of Lord Shiva?
Ashutosh.
Ashutosh, ever satisfied, and
Angry.
He is considered a gnani also, Prabhuji. He's in a
Okay.
meditation all the time.
okay, he is in meditation all the time. The actual real Savrupa of Lord Shiva is Shraddha Vishwas Rupino. Okay, he is the manifestation of staunch faith, okay, unshivering faith. That is the Savrup of Lord Shiva. So that is what we kind of visualize, or how we see these different personalities when we think of Lord Krishna, the Roop and Savrup. So if you are endowed with great faith, it means Lord Shiva has showered his mercy upon you, that you have attained to that Savrupa. If you have some Maryada in your life, okay, if there is some Dharma in your life, one should consider that Lord Ramachandra is merciful on you. You have attained to that Savrupa. Now, if you are feeling that bliss, okay, it means Lord Krishna is showering his mercy upon you, that you have attained that Savrupa, you are moving towards that. So by engaging in the personal worship of the Lord, by serving the Lord in his deity form, we can connect with the Lord in his personal aspect. So in 5th verse, Lord Krishna is speaking about the impersonalists, that their practice is very troublesome. And in the 6th verse, 6 and 7, Krishna is speaking about those who worship the personal form of the Lord. So Krishna says, those who worship me, giving up all their activities into me and being devoted to me without deviation. So here also, Krishna is talking about Ananya Bhakti, and the word used is also Ananya Eva Yogena. So Yetu Sarvani Karmani Mai Sanyasya Matparaha Ananya Eva Yogena Mam Dhyayante Upasate. So somebody who is engaged in my Ananya Bhakti, they are constantly thinking of me, giving up all their activities, or kind of engaging all their activities into me. Without any deviation, they are connected with me. Tesham aham samudbharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami na chirat partha mai aveshita chetasam. So for them, I am the swift deliverer from this ocean of birth and death. So for the impersonalist, they have to endeavor on their own strength. They are relying on their own strength to be able to attain that impersonal aspect. But for the devotees who are engaged in the personal worship of the Lord, who are connected into the personal aspect of the Lord, for them, Krishna says, even if there is some lacking, if they are lacking in something, I come for their rescue, I come for their help. I am the swift deliverer for them from the ocean of birth and death. So the devotee does not rely on his own endeavor, on his own strength. Rather, devotee is completely dependent on Krishna. And the example to understand this point or this difference, we discuss the example of a monkey or a kitten. Okay, a monkey. So if there is a baby monkey has to catch hold of the mother monkey or the father monkey. Okay, he is riding on the back of the mother monkey or the father monkey, and the baby monkey, it's the responsibility of the baby monkey to catch hold of them tightly. They are jumping from one place to another place, and it is on to the baby monkey to tie them, to hold them tightly. Contrary to that, in the case of cat and a kitten, the kitten is free mind. Okay, it's not the responsibility of kitten to hold tightly to the cat. The cat is carrying the kitten by holding the kitten into her mouth by her teeth. And wherever she is going, she is just carrying the kitten with her. So the kitten is completely free. Kitten is completely, he is not yet dependent on his own strength. So same way the devotee, he is completely dependent on the Lord, that whatever way you want to engage me, whatever way, whatever you want to do with me, please do as you like. Like Srila Prabhupada, when Srila Prabhupada came to America, standing on the Boston port, Prabhupada is praying to Krishna that make me dance, make me dance, make me dance as you like. So devotee is completely dependent on the Lord. Whatever you want to do with me, whatever way you want to engage me, okay, I am your puppet. And Lord takes charge of the devotee. He makes all the arrangement. Whereas a jnani, a dhyani, they are completely dependent on their own strength. They have to achieve the end goal on their own strength. So that is the difference. And Krishna is explaining that in these two verses very beautifully, that for the devotee who is attracted to the personal form of the Lord, for them it becomes easy process because I take charge of them. Right? I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Now, let's discuss some questions related to this section also. What is devotee's advantage in being promoted to the spiritual world?
Associating with Krishna in I
So
mean, like,
let me rephrase the question. So why for the devotee it becomes easy to be promoted to the spiritual world?
Because he has developed the relationship with Krishna.
Okay, he has developed the relationship with Krishna. Okay.
I think surrender is a big thing. Everything he depends on him. He puts everything, gives him to everything. It's like a child surrendering to mother. It's a
Very
total
good.
surrender
Very
and
good.
accepting your weakness.
Right. So that is the perfect example. So as a child is completely dependent on the mother, mother takes care of everything for the child, right? For especially for a small child. Child doesn't know anything. He cannot do anything. He's just lying on the bed. Mother is taking care of the child, feeding the child, changing the clothes, changing the diaper and everything. So the child is completely dependent on the mother. So same way, a devotee is completely dependent on the Lord, and the Lord comes personally to take the devotee. He comes personally riding on the Garuda. He sends his Vaikuntha Viman also to take the devotee. So that is the advantage of the devotee compared to the other processes. Okay. Now the next question: why a devotee's activity is always transcendental?
because it is related to Krishna, who is above the three modes and is transcendental.
Okay, good, because he's always connected with Krishna beyond the three modes. Anybody else?
Because probably Prabhu Krishna is transcendental himself. But the thing I'm thinking of is, does all the devotees from all the lower level to the highest level, can we say they're transcendental? I don't know. I can't say I'm I may be on the way, but I don't think I am totally focused on a transcendental activity. But explain me that. I still think I need a clarification.
So the devotee's activity is considered transcendental because he is completely absorbed in Krishna, thinking of Krishna in his mind while doing all the activities. So he becomes beyond the three modes. He becomes beyond the influence of three modes. Okay, so his activities are considered transcendental. First of all, now let's move to text 8 actually. So text 8 through 11. Now Lord Krishna is speaking about the progressive stages of bhakti. Okay, so he gives the highest standard first. What is the highest standard of bhakti? Is Smarn Atmika Bhakti. Smarn Atmika Bhakti means the mind goes to Krishna automatically without any effort. So one is so much in love with Krishna that mind is constantly thinking of Krishna. For example, mother, when the mother sees anything related to the child, she sees the small shoes of the child or the clothes of the child, immediately she is remembering the child. When the child has gone to school, mother is remembering while doing the household chore, she is remembering the child. When he comes back from school, what I am going to feed to him, what he likes to eat. So mother's mind is engaged with child always. So same way a devotee who has developed that loving relation with Krishna, he is constantly thinking of Krishna. Smarn Atmika Bhakti, the mind automatically goes towards Krishna. Like in the case of Prahlad Maharaj is always remembering Krishna. Vasudeva Bhagavati Naisargiki Rati. Naisargiki. Okay. Natural attraction. So there is constant attraction, natural attraction for Krishna. Doesn't have to be stimulated through external things. For us, we are not at that stage as Smarnatmika Bhakti that we naturally remember Krishna. For us, we need some external stimulation, right? That's why we say, okay, put pictures of Krishna all around in your house, in every room. There are pictures of Krishna. So when you see some pictures of Krishna, you remember Krishna. When you see some devotee wearing kanthimala, wearing tilak, we remember Krishna. So we need some external stimulation. But when devotee is at the level of Smarnatmika Bhakti, they have a natural attraction for Krishna. So they're always constantly thinking of Krishna, like Prahlad Maharaj. And Krishna says that is the highest level of bhakti. And beyond that, if you cannot come to that stage, if you're not at that stage yet, you don't have developed that spontaneous bhakti, the ragatmika bhakti, then try to do mananatmika bhakti. Okay? Then do conscious efforts to think of Krishna. So first stage is natural attraction. Automatically mind goes to Krishna. If you cannot do that, Krishna says manan atmika bhakti means put conscious efforts to think of me. Okay? Remember Krishna by using your intelligence, by studying about Krishna, by studying about his pastimes, his activities, his qualities. So in that way, you put conscious efforts to engage your mind in Krishna. That is manan atmika bhakti. Now, if that is also not possible for you, then Krishna says, Abhyas yogena tato mam ichhaptum dhananjaya. If you cannot fix your mind on me with conscious efforts, if you cannot even do mananatmika, then do abhyas. Okay, what is abhyas? At least follow the regulative principles of bhakti. Do sadhana bhakti. So now we are going to, after this chapter is over, we are going to start Nectar of Devotion. In Nectar of Devotion, it talks about Ragatmika Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, Vaidi Bhakti. So there are different type of Bhakti. Right? Ragatmika Bhakti is there is so much love, Raga, that one spontaneously engages in devotional service. The second category is Vaidi Bhakti. Vaidi Bhakti means we Vidhi Purvak, we do Bhakti. That is called sadhana bhakti also, that we have a particular standard process. You do this, you get up in the morning, you do this activity, that activity. You have a proper systematic process. That is called Vedi Bhakti. Vedi Bhakti means Vidhi Purvak. So Krishna says, if you cannot do Smaranatmika Bhakti, if you cannot do Mananatmika Bhakti, at least then come to the level of Abhyasa Yogena. Okay, do practice, follow the regulative principle, do sadhana bhakti, vaidhi bhakti, like observing Ekadashi fast, chanting the prescribed number of rounds. offering the worship to the deities. So those are all the process of Vaidhi Bhakti. In that way, Krishna says, you develop the desire to attain me. Mam ichhaptum. So in that way, you attain the desire to attain me. If you cannot do that also, then Krishna says, do at least external bhakti. Engage your senses in my service. Work for me. Engage your senses and mind and intelligence to work for me. Mad artham api karamani. So Krishna says, work for my sake. So in the beginning, let's say, the new people, they may not have that attraction for chanting the holy name. They do not have attraction for studying the Shastras, but they are interested in doing some physical service. Okay, they come to temple, they are interested in maybe pot washing, they're interested in helping with making puris, chapatis in the kitchen, right? Rolling the puris and chapatis. They are interested in sweeping the floor. They are interested in making garland, picking flowers for Krishna. So that is mad artham apikaramani. So Krishna says, okay, if you cannot do smaranatmika bhakti, you cannot do mananatmika bhakti, you cannot do abhyasa yogena, that you are not following the vidhi process, following proper regulative principles and rules and regulation, observing Ekadashi and all, but at least engage your senses for my work. Okay, so in that way, you work for me. At least externally, engage in my service. Okay, next verse, Krishna says, if you cannot even do that also, if you cannot work for my sake, then at least try to give the fruits of your work for my service. Okay, that is giving charity in service of Krishna. So, okay, you are not working for me directly. You do not have time to come to temple and do some service for me. Whatever you are doing outside, you are doing your occupation, your work, your profession, whatever income you are earning, give some portion of that for my service. Okay, so giving charity for Krishna's service or for the service of society, for that matter. In that way, try to develop detachment at least. Okay, so develop detachment from the result of your activities. So that is also another level of external bhakti. So in this way, Krishna is giving various options for engaging in devotional service. If you cannot do this, then do this. If you cannot do this, then do this. So in some way or another, at least engage with me. So that is the progressive stages of bhakti. So after explaining this, Krishna gives the overall hierarchy also. Okay. So Krishna clearly says, if somebody engages their mind and intelligence in me, they are the best situated. And I am the personal deliverer for them. Tesham aham samudbharta. Okay, for example, if somebody falls into the ditch and another person throws a rope, and if the person is not able to catch the rope, then person lowers it further down until that person is able to catch the rope. So same way, Krishna keep lowering the requirements to achieve him. Oh, if you cannot do this, then at least do this. If you cannot do this, at least do this. So Krishna is slowly lowering the requirement so the person can at least hold that rope of bhakti, and Krishna will pull that person out of the ditch. Okay, so Krishna says, one way or another, obtain the desire to obtain me. Okay, so what we have to do to obtain Krishna? Obtain the desire to obtain Krishna. Okay, so we'll stop here today, and we'll continue in the next session for the remaining set of verses. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Okay, anybody has any question or comment?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, I am a little confused between who is a Mayavadi and who's an impersonalist, because even Mayavadis deny the form of Krishna, but they don't reach Krishna, but the impersonalists reach. So I'm kind of confused.
So we have described it multiple times. What is the difference? Let's maybe easy way, let's put few bullet points here. So impersonalist, there are two type of impersonalist. Okay, Mayavadi and Brahmavadi. Okay, both are impersonalist. Impersonalist means who are not attracted to the personal form of the Lord. That is impersonalist. So in that category of impersonalists, there are two categories, Mayavadi and Brahmavadi. Now, Brahmavadi do not deny the personal form of the Lord. They do not reject the personal form of the Lord, but they are more attracted to the impersonal aspect. Okay, Nirgun Savrup. That his qualities of being all pervading, he is fixed, immovable. So like that. So they are attracted to the impersonal aspect of the Lord, but they do not deny or criticize the personal form of the Lord. They do not say, oh, Lord cannot be in his personal form. That is Maya only. They accept the personal form also, but they are more attracted to the impersonal form. That is Brahmavadi. So Krishna says these Brahmavadis, they will also attain me eventually, but the path is very troublesome. On the other side, the second category of impersonalist is Mayavadi. Mayavadi means they reject the personal form of the Lord altogether. They criticize the personal form of the Lord. They say this is also Maya. Whenever Lord has assumed a personal form here, it is made of Maya only. Because their talks are Maya, they are called Mayavadi. Vada means to speak. Their speech itself is Maya, illusion, right? Whatever they are speaking. So that is Mayavadi. And the destination of Mayavadi, because they are offended to the Lord, they are offended to the personal form, they are offended to the Lord, they have no scope. They glide down to the lower regions, to the hellish regions. So that is the difference between Mayavadi and Brahmavadi. Even though both in English word, we will say both impersonalist, but still there is a big difference in Mayavadi and Brahmavadi.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question which is very difficult, but you think Sharir, we say right now we have a body, right? But then you have a Sukshma Sharir and Karan Sharir. Now, Sukshma Sharir, you carry all the sensing, like they talk about heaven and hell and all that, and you take Sukshma Sharir, you can feel pain and all that. But that Karan Sharir is a only thing it has is Ahankar and nothing else. When you merge into Brahma Jyoti, do you really have Ahankar left or it's all gone?
Up to the level of Brahma Jyoti, that Ahankara is still there. Okay, when we cross beyond that Brahma Jyoti and go to the spiritual world, before entering into the actual spiritual world, then somebody gives up that last element of Sukshama Sharira in the form of their Mithya Ahankar. Okay. But up to that level, the Ahankar remains. So now, Sharir, when we say Sharir, there are two categories, Suksham Sharir and Sthula Sharir. Okay, so Sthula Sharir is basically this external form which is made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, the five elements, Panch Mahabhut. And then after the Sthula Sharir, there is Suksham Sharir. Suksham Sharir contains mind, intelligence, and false ego. Okay, that is Suksham Sharir. So when we give up this Sthula Sharir, right, when somebody dies, when they give up this body, the soul still carrying the Suksham Sharir with it, which contains mind, intelligence, false ego. And mind is the storehouse of all the previous impressions. So when the soul is going from one body to another body, it is carrying that Suksham Sharir with it, basically the previous impressions. That's why in the next life, somebody is still carrying those previous impressions, even though they have not experienced it in that particular body, but those impressions are coming from the previous body, because our the Suksham Sharir is carried forward. Okay. And when somebody attains to the spiritual world, before entering into the spiritual world, one drops that materially contaminated mind, intelligence, and mithya ahankar also. And the pure spiritual form enters into the spiritual world. See, in spiritual world also, mind intelligence is there. But the materially contaminated mind and intelligence has completely been dropped out. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, that's pretty good. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Um,
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
I have a question regarding the impersonalist. Like, we as a devotees, we have some exchanges with the Lord, and means which we can experience at a gross level. What this impersonalists draw by practicing their practices?
So I have not experienced myself. So
Hmm.
based on the Shastras, what is mentioned in the Shastras, there are two things, peace and happiness. Okay. So the impersonalists, they reach to the stage of peace. Yes, by the practice of dhyana, the impersonal meditation and all, one can attain peace, the peace of mind. Even though in these days when people promote this dhyana, meditation, their whole agenda is so you can become peaceful. So becoming peace is one can become peaceful by this practice, but our goal is not just to gain peace. Our goal is to gain ananda, okay, that happiness. What is our constitutional position? Is our constitution is anandamaya abhyasat. Okay? Everybody want to derive that happiness. So that happiness can be experienced only in the direct relationship with Krishna, in personal relationship with Krishna. So we are not looking for only peace, but we are looking for happiness. And the most famous example I quote is many times that if you are sitting at your home and there is no distraction, there is no disturbance, you are feeling peaceful. But as soon as you are feeling peaceful, then you want to invite your friends and you want to have party, you want to enjoy with friends or family members. Why? Because we are not looking for peace only, we are really looking for happiness, which is there in relationship, right? Otherwise somebody can just sit at home 24 hours 7 days a week, 24 hours 30 days of a month, 365 days a year, just keep sitting at your home. Peace, feel very peaceful. How long can somebody do that? Really, ultimately they want to enjoy.
Hmm.
So that is the difference. The impersonal practice, this that can lead to peace, but the real happiness is in personal relationship.
Okay. And
Last question, Prabhuji. When you do this Swarupa, when you do prayers, and I know all of us do the arati and everything, but what is the real way when true bhakta, when he goes the arati, he looks at Swarup, he doesn't look at just the roop, and the feeling has to be there. Main thing is a feeling of God and love towards God. As how do you Archan Bhakti is very, you know, very difficult. So once in a while you think that, oh, the Murti, you start criticizing Murti and do all kinds of things and mind goes all over the place. What is the real good way of doing it? Hare Krishna.
Okay, very good question. What is the real way of doing any personal service, any personal worship? What should be the mood? Even I'm myself not at that level yet. I do externally. What I can say is, or what I have heard is, our mood should be, we are doing this to please Krishna, not to drive our own pleasure. Okay, it's not that, oh, I'm doing arati so that I feel happy. That is not the mood. I am doing this so Krishna is happy. Okay, I may not feel that happiness or ecstaticness, but I am doing it. My motive is Krishna should feel happiness. So that is the mood I should be doing. I am offering bhoga to Krishna, so Krishna become happy. Okay, I am doing this offering to Krishna, so Krishna becomes happy. And when Krishna becomes happy, as a reciprocation, we also feel that happiness. But our mood should be for the pleasure of Krishna. Okay, even though it may be troublesome for us. Okay, now dressing the deities, sometimes it becomes troublesome. Okay, making sure everything fits and all that properly. So devotees who do that dressing in the timely manner, they have to finish everything in time. They are rushing also sometimes, that we need to finish this, we need to open the curtains. So they may be perspiring, they may feeling anxiety. But why? What the purpose is, I'm doing it to please Krishna. Krishna will become happy. So our mood is to make Krishna happy for the pleasure of Krishna. Ultimately, we should request Krishna that you have given me this opportunity to serve you. Please engage me in your service one more time. I am so fallen, I am so sinful, I am so contaminated, but it is your mercy that you have brought me in your service. So I'm very grateful to you for engaging me in your service to purify me. Please engage me in your service one more time. Please give me this opportunity to serve you one more time. And if we really want also something from Krishna, we can ask Krishna that what is the best thing we can ask from Krishna is, give me the right intelligence, give me the right mindset, and give me the physical ability to be able to engage in your service.
Dandavat Pranam, thank you very much. I think this is something I wanted to clarify for a long time. How you people, pray. I have been praying for like childhood, but sometimes parents force you to do it, so you do it and all that. But emotion and all that slowly has to come. Then more Shraddha has to come, and you think he is really real person, and don't start having your mind dominate you. Probably your emotions should dominate you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, I think we will stop here today then. Yeah, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you so much for
Hare
joining.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.